your pool of talent that you go after?
A lot of it is, from my experience, you need to put yourself in situations where you meet people. And there's some of us that have done a great job in doing so. And by keeping in touch with someone like you, if I met you at a bar or I met you at another networking event in the past, the smart thing that I've always done is every 1 month, 2 months, you remind them of who you are and what your goals are.
Who are you reminding? Who that client
it could be anyone.
out there?
It could be an athlete, it could be an agent, it could be anybody that has a connection of the goal, building the goal that you're trying to attain.
Great, so that's a really good theme. It's the networking, it's keeping up with the networking. We'll get into that a little bit later. One more, Corey, who do you think you're going after? Who's your potential pool of people that'll hire you right away?
I would imagine there's an element of kind of like cold calling as well, people that might go to combines or go just catch college games and try to talk to them. I mean, I know
There's a theme of younger
issues.
players with what you're telling me now.
Right.
Would you go after the 10-year veteran, the all-star? Is that a viable client to go after when you're first starting out? Your first pool of potential clients that'll sign with you as a young agent? Maybe, maybe not. But, you're going to run into coaches that have told their players, I'll take care of you. I'll take care of you.
Having the veteran on your side is like one of the biggest things you can do for yourself, even if he's at the end of his career.
Big time.
They're still making appearances back at their alma maters, especially if they're a top tier school, and they can just put you in touch. They're working out at the same gym, and you have to think about the realm of coaches that continue to play this little carousel, around the realm of sports.
Right.
Bill Belichick has, 10 coaches, 12 coaches that he's influenced that are all around.
Right, just picks up the phone, big bill. But, so the coaches of those college players, it's their mom and dad all tied up together. Players, ex-players, current players, the roommate. I've run into trying to sign a player, well, my roommate's gonna represent me, okay? So there's all sorts of levels of people that you're up against. Oh, this is a very common one, especially with the rookies coming out of college. Well, my aunt is a lawyer, and she played high school soccer, so we're using my aunt at this point in time. Or my uncle, or my next door neighbor, my dad's brother, somebody in the family is either a lawyer or played some level and knows it. Or, my U15 coach is the person he's from England, and he knows soccer, and everyone knows him. He's taking care of me. This gets into certification. Here in the United States, for soccer purposes, if you're an attorney in good standing, then you're automatically eligible to become a soccer agent. And if you want to be a soccer agent and you're not a lawyer, you have to take the FIFA examination, which is given twice a year in Chicago. You have to go there, stay for 3 days. It costs $1,000. It's a big exam, and then they let you know. Right now, there are 154 certified FIFA agents in the United States on the website as you look at it. But there's lots of Auntie Marys and Uncle Bobs and coaches and roommates and lawyers. There's a lot of competition out there when you're going after that potential pool, especially the younger players just coming out.
Dave,
Yes.
you said attorneys in good standing can automatically become a soccer agent.
Yes.
Is there any geographic restrictions to that?
As I understand it, it's an attorney in the United States in good standing. As long as you're registered in your particular jurisdiction. Do they check it
If I'm an
out?
attorney in New
I have
Jersey,
no
it's
idea.
Ohio.
When I went to apply to say, I'd like to be certified, they asked me to send something from, the bar, that I was an attorney in good standing, and that was it. They said, now you're certified. Crazy, crazy. I mean, it should be more difficult than just that. That's a good question. Main functions of an agent. What do you think we do?
Advocate for the best interest of your client.
Good one. What do you think?
Negotiate salaries, maintain.
Negotiate contracts, salaries, absolutely, yeah. Your time was coming, you know that. If you blew a couple of bubbles with the gum, I wouldn't call them, because I love bubbles, but what do you think? Main functions of an agent?
I think, I don't know, I think they said it, advocate for your client. Make sure
Advocate,
you're doing-
zealously advocate.
Yeah, doing
The
what
lawyers
they-
too, zealously advocate. Contracts, what else?
Take care of any of the needs.
Any of their needs. When I review at the very end, the day in the life of a soccer agent, remember that. Take care of their needs to my very last comment. You'll love it. Especially with that hairdo. You'll love it. Okay. Negotiate contracts. Ding, ding. Politician without term limits. What does that mean? You as an agent, one of your functions, keep your clients happy. If your clients aren't happy, they don't hear from you. You're not stroking them. You're not reaching out to them. You're not supportive of them. You know, they're gonna hear from someone else in the locker room. Well, my agent's calling me every 2 weeks. Well, I haven't heard from my agent in months. You better keep your people happy, because that's where you're gonna, as Leo said before, you know, you're gonna reap benefits from those people you're in contact with, from the networking, especially your own clientele. And building a war chest. That's part of the business. That's the money part. You need to have money to run a business. You need to have finances to invest in your business and into yourself. And depending on the time, you'll hear a little bit of some of the investment that I make on a day-to-day level. Also, searching for new opportunities. What about in the off-season for a baseball player? My baseball gurus out there. When a player hasn't made it yet, it's a minor league player maybe, and in the off-season, what do? Help me, because I don't know. What are players doing things in the off-season to get discovered? The Cape League, I kind of knew about that, but not that well, but yes. There were those summer leagues, right?
Yeah, the winter leagues. You talking about the off-season?
Yes, the
Yeah,
off-season,
yeah,
the
yeah.
winter leagues. Although Cape Cod, they play in the summer.
Those are college players. So college players.
Only college players in the
Cape
Cape
Cod is
Cod?
only college athletes.
Okay.
So they have an off-season, but if you're in minor league ball professionally, there's usually winter training, usually work out with other players.
Yeah, so there are other leagues outside of the main season of Major League Baseball. And I'm guessing those professional guys are playing there to get discovered, to do well. So as an agent, if you've got a struggling client that's not a star that can go and vacation in Venezuela in the off-season, are you involved? Is that agent gonna ask you about that? Well, what league should I get involved in the off-season? Or what if it's a basketball player who you feel has the potential to play pro ball? Maybe not in the NBA. Are they gonna say to you, well, what about going to Italy? What can you do for me there? They pay good money in their league. How about China? They're paying good money in China. How about that? Are you prepared, okay, as a function of what you're doing for your athletes, to search for new opportunities in marketing? That's all the sports apparel. Do you have contacts with Adidas, Puma, Nike, Diadora? You know, so when your athlete says, oh, I need a boot deal, you can make a phone call. Well, let me call Nikki over at Adidas. I know Nikki well. That type of a thing. So really, really important, the main functions of an agent. I think this is a good triangle of the energy that I put into negotiating contracts, you know, keeping up with my clients, always looking for the next wave of players to come in, and always being on top of new opportunities or new marketing opportunities on behalf of our clients. Major League Soccer, very unique league. Very unique, different from probably any other sports league that you know of, domestically or internationally. It is legally called a single entity. We know that Bob Kraft is the owner of the Patriots. Patriots. But in the single entity in Major League Soccer, Bob Kraft is an investor in Major League Soccer on behalf of the franchise called the New England Revolution. Legally, there are no owners. Major League Soccer owns everything. And there are investors. 49% investors, Mr. Kraft. whereas the league owns it all. When I signed a player to the LA Galaxy, to the Red Bulls, to the Revolution, to Chicago, to Dallas, you name one of the 19 teams, none of those contracts has the name of the team on it. None of them. None of them say, oh, you're gonna play for the New England Revolution. They all say Major League Soccer. A player, once you sign, they own your signature, they own your breath, they own your vision, your image, everything.
So there's people.
So it's the
working for
players' union
Like,
that represents the players.
Right, and who's on the other side of that
For
table?
the CBA.
Who's on the other side, who's on the other side of the table? So the players
league.
negotiate. So it's not the presidents of the teams, it's like,
No,
there's
no.
the league itself.
Exactly, it's the people in New York City
Okay.
against the lawyers from the union on behalf of the players, yeah. So right now, we have 19 teams in Major League Soccer. The most recent one was the Montreal Impact that came into the league last year. There are 3 Canadian teams. The rest of them are domestic here in the United States. They compose Major League Soccer. They really want to have a 20th team, and the whole world wants that to be the New York Cosmos, and that might happen quicker than we think. The single entity, I talked about the first, I played all the sports, that was my background. I find it, I would probably struggle in a sport that I had never played or had a real understanding of it to recognize the talent. I don't know the difference between a really good volleyball player and someone that just would never make it, but I suppose for an ex-pro volleyball player, they would know just what to look like. So, I mean, for what it's worth, you know, it's a personal feel that I have if I'm scouting a player. You know, the high-level players, they're high-level players for a reason. Maybe you don't need to know anything about them. If they're the big players making the big money, just be good at what you do, your negotiation skills and what have you. I don't think every good lawyer or agent that works in a particular sport played that sport or had to have it. They may be phenomenal statisticians, and they know the business, they know the numbers, and they're good negotiators. That could be good for me if does it really matter? Did you play my sport, yes or no? Or are you good at what you do? That's if you're if you're blessed with the big time players are calling you. But if you're out scouting, if you're breaking into the business, I think it would be tough unless you had a feel of the sport that you were working for. Fair enough? Yeah.
Seeing the MLS as a single entity, should they contract with companies, for example, I guess Reebok, let's say, just hypothetical, for the kids. Does that encumber you as a representative of the individual for their own endorsement deals?
It does play a role. Adidas is the main licensing company for Major League Soccer.
So you can't sign an endorsement deal with Nike or Reebok then?
Nike and Puma also have licensing agreements with the league. So those 3 companies we can do booth deals with without an issue at any time. Okay? The rule in soccer is you have to wear Adidas cleats unless you have a deal with another company. So I have some players wearing Diadoras as an example. I've had other brands that aren't licensed. The only way my player can wear the Diadora boot in Major League Soccer, again, remember every rule is an exception, but the general rule is when he signed his contract for the league, there's a question on page 1. Do you have any endorsement deals? You have to write in, yes, Adidas, Diadora. So whatever the brand is. If you have a deal before you sign your contract with the league, you can bring in that non-licensee apparel.
The doors close as soon as they're property of the MLS.
Oh, that's it. You're only gonna get licensee companies that already have agreements for you to wear their apparel and do sponsorships with.
So does that lead to any people complaining about antitrust issues on behalf of the official licensed sponsors of the MLS?
Well,
Because they have a very unfair leverage.
they're gonna say
Against
to
players.
Burger King,
Right.
they're gonna say to Burger King, sure, come join us. Oh, you're interested in a few players? Great, come on in and buy a license to be part of the league. We're not saying you can't. All we need is 25 million. Come on in and join us. Now, I'm speculating on that, but I'll bet my speculation is right on point. It's not that they don't want all these other companies, but soccer's been it's an interesting sport. It's a challenge to our other established sports. A great statistic that I haven't mentioned yet, 2011, I think it was the New York Times, I think. They took the average attendance of all the major sports. Major League Soccer had a higher average attendance than the National Hockey League and the National Basketball Association, 2011. And that's only gone up. Last year, the numbers were higher in soccer. The stadiums are getting bigger, the attendance is getting bigger. It's not going away, it's only growing. The sport's growing, growing and growing. Yeah. TV deals, Major League Soccer, they've signed 3 brand new TV deals in the last 2 years. Mega deals. NBC, ESPN2, mega deals. So it's a good question. So it's not that they don't want Burger King or someone like that. It's not that they don't want Reebok. If Reebok came in with more money than Adidas, they'd probably say, we'll find a way for you to come in. Yeah. Good question. Excellent. Well, there's some pizza out there and some drinks, I guess. So thank you for staying through. Kevin, everybody here, thank you very much. Great to come back and answer some questions.